Viewers, you're watching Crux of the Matter. Without exaggeration, the BJP was metaphorically on the ropes after the chastening 2024 Lok Sabha election result. Its first 100 days in office were marked by an unprecedented administrative tentativeness and ideological equivocation. In fact, some substantial policy decisions were rolled back. Many experts wondered if the reduced mandate had caused the BJP to question its own convictions. Rahul Gandhi even predicted a rout for the BJP in Haryana and Jammu and Kashmir. The usual suspects in the Congress-suffused, quote, ecosystem, unquote, also wrote the BJP off. But the results from Haryana and Jammu province of Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory reveal that Modi is still trusted by the masses, especially the needy. Dalits and the extreme backward castes, EBCs, have all returned to the BJP in Haryana. Look at the numbers, they're on your screens, viewers. Even the Jats, who were thought to have been permanently alienated from the BJP, didn't desert the party. In fact, friends, if you really look at it, of the 47% remaining Jats, the BJP split even them, bagging almost 30% of those 47% Jats. The statistics speak for themselves. As I told you, the OBCs, 47% OBCs voted for the BJP, the Congress only cornering 32%, which was a reversal, big reversal from the Lok Sabha elections that preceded this one by just about 100 days. Scheduled caste, BJP 45%, the Congress 33%. Another retention here by the BJP after losing this vote to the Congress 100 days ago. The much wanted agitation amongst the Kisan, the farmer, has also not cost the BJP. As you can see, viewers, it's pretty even there. BJP getting 35% of all farmer vote, the Congress getting 44%. In fact, if you really tracked the GT road, as it is called, that leads into Delhi, the NCR region, to be more specific, where the farmers were protesting, in fact, many seats along that GT road went to the BJP. Upper castes have remained with the BJP, 60% of that vote. All of this meant that the BJP won 21 out of 25 OBC-dominated seats, increasing its tally by 3 in the SC reserve seats, and most crucially, retaining 15 of the 30 seats in the Jat belt. So it's not just vote share, it's also seat share. In fact, in Haryana, the Congress only won 40% of the seats it contested. It's not just Haryana that voted against the Congress, but as I was telling you, Jammu and Kashmir, here the Congress party's strike rate was a dismal 15% compared to the BJP's 46%. The double loss undermines the Congress party's narrative that relies heavily on perpetuating a caste-based affirmative action as an avenue for upward social mobility. Moreover, the rout also raises fresh doubts about whether the Congress can aspire to be an alternative to the BJP at the national level. The result will also take the sting out of the Congress party's campaign that Modi's governance has underwhelmed. For the record, Haryana is the 11th state where the BJP has returned to power, cementing its status as the natural party of governance. This is no mean feat, considering the Congress hasn't been re-elected in any state for at least a decade. In the Hindi belt, that is. And of course, beyond. In the end, it is fair to say that Modi's brand has proven to be more durable than many had predicted. Let's ask why. What is the alchemy that makes people commit themselves, trust brand Modi? And I want to start with Professor Salvatore Babones, who's a sociologist, and he's written extensively on what leadership actually means. So, without really getting into absolute specifics, Mr. Babones, someone looking inward onto India for the last 10 years and perhaps more, what is it that continues to make Indians trust Modi as a leader? What are these attributes that perhaps others don't have?
Well, I think I'm certainly the least qualified person on this panel to answer that question. I don't speak Hindi. I don't really know Indian culture as well as anyone on this panel does. What I can talk to is the statistics. So let's keep in mind that although the BJP lost a large number of seats in the recent national elections, the vote share was only down by about 0.8 of a percentage point. Now, that kind of vote share loss after 10 years in government is something that any Western political party would kill for. That's an incredible result of retention of the vote. So although it translated into a much lower number of seats, and that's what matters for power, that's not what matters for understanding people's voting preferences. In fact, in 2024, there was virtually no shift at all in people's voting preferences between the two major parties, between the BJP and the INC. BJP was down by 0.8%. The INC was up by 1.7 percentage points. Those are pretty minor shifts. Now, keep in mind that Mr. Modi, at least according to the international polls, I don't follow the Indian polls as closely, retains an approval rating of around 75%. Now, that means that first of all, there's been no defection of, the brand Modi has not been compromised as much as people seem to think. But it also means that about half the Indians who approve of Mr. Modi's performance don't vote for the BJP. And that's the really interesting phenomenon that I'd really love to hear more from my Indian colleagues about, because that's fascinating that people would approve of the Prime Minister but not want to vote for his party.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, let's just quickly ask that question. A large number of Indians still don't vote for the BJP, Neerja Chaudhary, though the party has returned to power as part of a larger NDA and perhaps a more tightly woven together entity this time.
Yeah, look, in the Lok Sabha elections, the party did suffer a setback, did not get a majority on its own as it was hoping to do. And somebody said to me who had attended the Council of Ministers at that time, talked about Mr. Modi's body language and yet saying that we will also make a coalition government work. But again, after the Haryana victory, at the Council of Ministers meeting, Mr. Modi's body language was very different, very upbeat. And I think it's like using the old cliche, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, rather than the other way around, which we talk about the Congress having done. So yes, Mr. Narendra Modi's popularity may have suffered a setback. There was 10 years fatigue. Many people talked about it. In certain states like UP, its prospects were dented for a variety of reasons. And now to bounce back in so convincing a manner will give new heart, no doubt about it, to the workers across the states that are going to the polls, in Maharashtra, in Jharkhand, in Delhi, earlier that next year. And I think if you come to the reasons for it, I would call Haryana victory more than the Modi brand, Modi wisdom, because they left it to the state leaders. The central leadership took a back step. Mr. Modi did not campaign as much as as in other states. They were not even inserted towards the end. They were not even his pictures on the posters. So they left it to the state leadership. And this change that they made in the Chief Minister, moving Mr. M.L. Khattar, a Punjabi Khatri, to Delhi, and Naib Singh Saini, an OBC face, to Haryana, I think did pay them dividends, because what we saw was a massive backlash by the non-Jat voter in favor of the BJP. Even though the Jat voter has gone to the Congress, and the Congress vote share is almost the same as the BJP. But it is the strategy and the tactics, and as the campaign moved on to do course correction, to to use the shelter card, who's a Dalit, and who the Dalits were very unhappy, was not given her due during the campaign. And we saw that in Dalit Bastis. So the BJP used that to the hilt. So it is all of these things together, and of course there is that electoral machinery that the BJP has, giving attention to the nuts and bolts, which the Congress has not managed to do at all in Haryana.
Okay, let's just get more views, because it's interesting. Are we sort of separating Mr. Modi from this particular outcome? Is that, Shazia Ilmi, is that something that can be neatly done, compartmentalized, that, okay, Mr. Modi left it really to the other generals and the other players, and he decided this time to take a back seat? Or is that a little, perhaps, simplistic an explanation?
Yes, I think Modi wisdom is part of Modi brand, and the choice of generals and others who are out there is also part of the Modi brand. So, and I think overall what makes Modi so credible as a brand, as a person, as a statesman, is you know, his welfareism, is his far reach when it comes to delivery. So I think eventually good governance is the best model, and sooner or later people can tell apart, you know, can discern the difference between myth and reality, all the patapat promises, poll promises, and the reality. And I think when the electorate is more discerning and can see through the poll promises of others compared to the actual goods delivered in hand by one particular leader and his brand of politics, and the way he's implemented so many schemes and has changed and transformed, whether it's DBT or the whole model. I mean, they just transformed the whole governance model in a way that it reaches more, it reaches well, it connects. There is last mile delivery. You reach the last person out there. The tech-enabled governance makes a huge difference and allows for less corruption and more efficiency. So I think altogether, all of them combine to give Modi that upper hand, because there is a certain credibility. And, you know, as they say, I mean, you can't fool all the people all the time.
Okay,
you know, we are seeing what's happening with the other.
Okay, so you've introduced
you can't
a very
fool all the people all the time. We've
Okay.
seen what's happening in Himachal.
So
We've
you've
seen what's happening in
introduced.
Karnataka.
Yes, Ms. Ilmi, 1 second. You've introduced a very important matrix here. You've talked about credibility, which also translates into trust, which is, of course, a very important quality that a leader must actually, at some level, arouse. So I want to bring in the NCP, and I want to bring in the spokesperson of the NCP, Mr. Chavan. Mr. Chavan, it's quite clear that in this battle of trying to win the hearts and minds of the people, whether it is in Jammu and Kashmir or it is in Haryana in this particular round of elections or at different other times, if you want to emerge as an alternative to the BJP, which is the party, at least as of now, the default party of governance in quite a few Indian states, you have to be able to convince that you're a credible alternative. That's the word that is usually used. Do you feel that you're falling short somewhere? Perhaps, I'm not saying that you personally as the NCP, but perhaps the India Alliance that is led right now by Rahul Gandhi. Is there a bit of a mismatch?
Good evening, Rahul. What I feel is Congress lost Haryana because of the infighting within the party. It is not that BJP won. I think it is the Congress who lost. Now, if we talk about Modi's popularity or his brand value was very well tested during the recently concluded Lok Sabha elections. You know, the Lok Sabha elections, BJP fought in Modi's name, his guarantee, but they were restricted to 240 seats. Coming back to Haryana and Jammu Kashmir, if you see Haryana, no doubt BJP won. Okay, if you look at it in a different way, they just managed to retain their 48 seats, which were there in the last term, and so as the Congress also retained their 37 seats. So why we are talking about, because it was unexpected. Even BJP thought thought it is unexpected. Had they been confident that they were going to win the Haryana elections, I feel they would have conducted Haryana, Jharkhand, Maharashtra elections together, which they didn't do because they were always promoting one nation, one election. So I feel here that it is the Congress who has to introspect and try to learn out of Haryana and come up and fight harder and stronger. So in Maharashtra, see, the dynamics of every states are different. In Maharashtra, local issues are different. I don't think there will be any impact of Haryana results on Maharashtra.
Sure.
In Maharashtra, you might be knowing there are several issues which are of the concern. One thing is that Haryana win of the BJP. Of course, it will influence their cadre and their leaders. Their morale will be boosted and their confidence will be, of course, influenced, but not the voters. I see no reason for the voters to get influenced because of the Haryana win.
Okay.
Because here voters.
Okay,
Yes.
just hold your thoughts. Let me bring in Neerja Chaudhary because this conversation is proceeding in an interesting way. Now, Mr. Chavan says that it's not the BJP that won Haryana, but it's the Congress that lost it, Neerja Chaudhary. Now, that could be said, for example, about the BJP in Uttar Pradesh in the Lok Sabha election. You could say that because of certain internal problems, and some of us are aware of it, in the BJP actually lost that election. It's not as if the SP, Congress, India alliance won in Uttar Pradesh. One could look at it that way also. So are we being a little too prematurely dismissive of the traction of the BJP and the connect of Mr. Modi? That's what I'm trying to get at.
I think it is a bit of both, that the Congress lost this election because they put all the cards in Mr. Huda's hands, and the non-Jat communities were apprehensive of what Jat rule would mean, the return of Jat Shahi, and they didn't want that, and they preferred to trust BJP instead. Even though the BJP had been in power for 10 years, many people were unhappy, a fatigue had set in, they said this hadn't been done as is wont to happen. So that did happen. There is a very important factor here which I want to mention. There are many reasons for why this happened. An important factor is the return of a section of the Dalits back to the BJP. The Dalit, this section had moved to the Congress during the Lok Sabha election. You remember the 400 Par slogan and the Dalit being afraid that it will mean change in constitution and it may mean an end of reservations for them. And that is what really dented the BJP's final tally. Now, if those Dalits, a section of them, are looking at the BJP afresh, which seems to be the case because they were apprehensive, and it's not only apprehensive of Jat rule, and why they were so agitated and exercised about Kumari Shelja, who it's not as if she's been able to transfer votes of the Dalits to her party in the past, but she suddenly became a symbol of the way the Dalits felt they were being treated. A Dalit woman in this, I was being told, in this Julana constituency where Vinesh Fogart finally won, she didn't know the name of the candidate, but she knew ye Shelja ke saath kya kar rahe hain. So they felt, there is this reflects a growing consciousness in the Dalits about their rights and their due place in the political structure, and an assertiveness by them. And this is something the BJP and the opposition parties in India will have to take into account. Of course, there are other reasons. The RSS was much more active in this election campaigning for the BJP candidates than in the Lok Sabha elections in Uttar Pradesh. Haryana is a small state with constituencies around 2 lakhs, so a difference of even 1,500 to 2,000 votes does matter. And
true, but
there were
it
a
is
large
also
number
not
of independents and rebels. All those factors are there.
Yes.
But essentially we have to, I feel, look at the massive non-Jat consolidation in favor of the BJP and the Dalit factor. The D factor is what I find the most important.
In fact, statistics will also reveal that the same happened in Jammu. It was the Dalit, the SC reserved constituencies. Not one the BJP lost. Yes, it had a problem breaking into the ST constituencies in Jammu, but when it came to the Dalit vote, viewers, in Jammu, the BJP won all of them. You see, if we only focus this conversation through the lens of, and Shazia Almi, I want to bring you in on this, because I began by saying that it's not just Haryana, there was also Jammu. Of course, that's a polarized mandate, but still, it was a straight fight. Omar Abdullah said, I'm hoping that the Congress can do significant damage in Jammu to the BJP, where it is in a direct contest with the BJP. But we've noticed that that didn't quite fructify in the way they were hoping. The Congress has flopped. In fact, in the whole state, it's only got 4 seats, and there might even be a government now without a Congress presence in it. So this points to something else, doesn't it?
Well, absolutely. And I think if you look at, and also Congress has been gloating about its vote share and vote percentage. And if you look at that, you realize there's another pattern that emerges. Look at the Congress seats, how Congress is done in Jammu and Kashmir. You just talked about that. It's done really badly. And in fact, Umar Abdullah did not lead the alliance. In fact, if at all, a lot of people feel that NC has probably suffered because of Congress presence, because of a lot of people have not voted for Congress because Congress tied up with NC. So both have suffered because of each other. And that is what both the parties are saying is what is one is getting to here. But if you look at something very interesting, you see the vote share and they're gloating about that at 39.9 and 39.1. The vote share in Haryana. If you take away the 4 Muslim-dominated seats, it just changes. The whole situation changes. So if you take away all those seats, you realize that Congress is like the new Muslim League. And we've heard when BJP talks about consolidation of Hindu vote, it hurts a lot of people, it angers a lot of people, the editorials written about it. But clearly they're playing a game which is just reducing them to being another party like the Muslim League. Because if you see the Muslim-dominated seats, 4 of them, you will realize that Congress is reduced even further. And BJP got 39.9, as I just told you, and Congress 39.09. So we're looking at 0.9% totally vote share. But if you change that and you take away all these 4, then BJP gets a 41.21 and Congress 38.15. And similarly, and you realize why Rahul Gandhi has stopped going temple hopping and talking about his Gotra and Janeyu. And even if you look at, that matter, Jammu, you realize that you realize the same thing.
Yeah, no, I completely understand where you're coming from on this point, but fundamentally, and I want to come back to the NCP, look, I'm not trying to say that, all states vote alike, etc., but actually, if you really look at it, the BJP has won approximately 135, contested about, or was in a direct contest, let me put it this way, with the Congress in about 135 seats, out of which it has won 87 or approx. I've just done a quick rough mental math, so please don't crucify me if I don't get it down to the exact digit. And that comes to about 64-65% conversion rate. Mr. Chavan, that cannot happen only because someone has made tactical adjustments. Because if you talk about tactical adjustments, course correction, then the BJP has also done that vis-a-vis Maharashtra. They've started rolling out a large number of reliefs, as you know. And that might also lead to the kind of success they've had in Haryana.
I strongly believe that Haryana results may not impact Maharashtra because Maharashtra, there are local issues which voters are concerned about. Of course, we accept humbly the mandate given by Haryana and Jammu Kashmir people. But here in Maharashtra, the situation is different. There are a lot of problems like inflation, unemployment, farmers' distress, rising atrocities against women, total collapse of law and order.
Yes.
So many things, movement of businesses out to other states like Gujarat. And if you talk about the castes and communities, see in Maharashtra, you might be knowing Marathas, OBCs, Dhangas, Adivasis, all of them are protesting against this government for their rights and for their demands of reservations. So I'm telling you, there are different things, different scenario in Maharashtra. So I really don't think that Haryana will
Look,
really
only
impact.
time will tell, sir. I mean, I'm not going to press the point anymore. I'm just going to say this. And viewers, it'll be an interesting election because Maharashtra and Jharkhand are almost certainly going to take place together. I leave it at this. On the crux, thank you for watching.